Right, shall we start? Right, guys, so welcome to a new lesson, a fresh lesson, lesson number 15 in your syllabus, financial management. Right? මේකත් එක තවත් ලොකු lesson එකක් තියෙනවා ඊළඟට අපිට කරන්න HRM, Human Resource Management. ඒ දෙක කරා කියන්නේ almost done with the syllabus. ඊට පස්සේ තවත් ටිකක් medium size lesson එකක් තියෙනවා IT and information systems කියන එක. ඊට පස්සේ අපිට තියෙන්නේ business plan. Right? The business plan කියලා කියන්නේ අර management lessons ඔක්කොගෙම summary එකක්. It's nothing new there. So then 3 more lessons of 15, 16, 17. Yes, so 3 more to go. I have shared the soft copy, so try to manage it with today. I'll make sure that I arrange the hard copy for you. Right, so these are the set of things that I would like to discuss today. To give you an intro about financial management, what is it about? And you know well about management, right? You know well about management since we have discussed from introduction to management, then operations and marketing. And now here we are moving to financial management. FM financial management. So if you think about the functional areas, financial management is one of the key functional area out of the scope of the management. Like we do have HR, marketing, operations, IT management. So likewise, FM is one of the key functional area. Now, functional area. So I'll be giving a quick intro about that. And also the main functions of financial management. If you do remember, operations management, marketing, there are functions that we discussed. So likewise, what sort of activities, what sort of things that we discuss comes under the financial management. And also the main objective of the financial management. When it comes to operations, when it comes to marketing, there are key objectives. So why we have to follow this? So likewise, what is the main objective of managing your financials? And also the rest of the goals also there. And also there are some decisions that you need to take in the financial management. So can we do like this? Can we write the topic in a short notebook? Lesson number 15, financial management. And these are the set of subtopics that I'm planning to discuss today. Right, so just 1 minute for this. Right. Now let's move to the intro part. So what is about financial management? I'm pretty sure that you have heard this word before. අනිවාර්යෙන්ම මීට කලින් අහලා සහ ලියලා තියෙනවානේ. Because we discuss the functional areas. මොකක්ද ඇත්තටම financial management කියන්නේ? Huh? Some student thinks like it's the preparation of financial statements. No, it's like, part of accounting, right? Accounting factor. The accounting කොටසකුත් තියෙනවා අපිට ඩිස්කස් කරන්න මේ ලෙසන් එකේ. Right? Financial statement analysis, ratio analysis. හරි ඒක පාර්ට් එකක් විතරයි. සමහර financials කියවම සමහර හිතන්නේ මේක share market එක මොන හරි සම්බන්ධයක්. Again, it's a part of the whole picture. The financial management is all about when you come to a business, you need to have funds. Right? I say funds, right? Not funds, right? You need to have funds. F-U-N-D-S, right? Not F-U-N. Correct. You need to have funds. So there are two things that you need to consider. First one is how to obtain funds for your business, right? How to obtain the simple two questions. How to obtain funds. Right? Because in order to invest in a business, in order to expand your business, in order to acquire resources, acquire assets, employing people, you need to have funds. And then it's a really question, how do you find the funds for the business? There are so many ways. So what are the most effective methods? So that's one question that you will be considering. And let's say somehow you obtain the funds for your business. The next question arises, how to utilize those funds, right? How we do invest those funds, whether we try to expand our business or whether we try to acquire another business, whether we try to launch a new product, or whether we try to invest in another company or another market, or whether we try to develop another product, adding one of product to our portfolio. So likewise, you'll be thinking. So the next question is that, so then how to obtain the funds? So yes, so you obtain funds, then how to utilize? How to utilize those funds? Right? How to utilize, obtain funds. මේ බොම්ම අමාරුවෙන් හොයාගත්ත funds එක කොහොමද utilize කරන්නේ? But at the moment, right? So while you're thinking about these two questions, you need to make sure you fulfill the main objective of financial management. So why you are doing this? Why you are trying to obtain funds for your business? Why you trying to utilize them in the most effective way with the objective of maximize the wealth of the owners, or in today's context, I would say shareholders. So the key objective of financial management is to maximize the wealth of the owners. Now, do you remember, right? When you come to the management, what we discussed, when you come to marketing management, I think we to add some value to the customer, satisfy them, and try to identify their needs and wants. So that is, somehow satisfy and keep adding value to the resources, to the product. So that's what the marketing management is about. And the financial management is about maximize the wealth of the owners or the shareholders. So how you do that? By obtaining the funds, and you need to utilize them in the most effective way, right? Which always make sure you always keep maximizing the wealth of the owners. Now then, what is really mean by the wealth of the owners? The next question arises. Now for that, I have came up with the practical example. Now today's context, we can measure the wealth of the owners by the share value. Right? අපි දන්නා share value එක keep changing. Right? අපි example එකක් බලුවොත් මේ විදියට you can see the price of a share, right? Share price. share price එක. මේ පැත්තෙන් ගන්න පුළුවන් time එක. මොකද time එකත් එක්කනේ මේක change වෙන්නේ. time. මම real world example එකක් දාලා තිනවා ටියුට් එකේ Tesla's price මම නිකන් company එකක් ගන්නවා මම මේක වෙනම ඔයාලට separately explain කරන්න. Now think about a company called ABC. ABC PLC is our company. Right? Well, so let's say 100 rupees here, 200, 300 likewise. Now you can see the movement of shares, right? Because investing in the shares is always a risk, and high risk, high return. Or could be stable or likewise. You can see how it, change. And roughly think about, let's say this is like April. You got May. And let's say June, right? Up April. So you can see like I would go like 250, right? Shall I say 250 here? 250 rupees. And when you come to May, you've been able to increase the share price, and also there are changes as well. But I would go with like 350 here, right? May. Just 2 months comparing. So how you can do this? By correctively utilizing your funds. In our හරියට වාගේ තියෙන funds ටික utilize කරේ නැත්නම් bestම method එකේ ඔයාගේ share price වැඩි වෙන්න විදියක් නැහැ. මොකද company එකක් හොඳට operate කරොත් තමයි ඔයාගේ share price එක වැඩි වෙන්නේ. So then only you can maximize the wealth of the owners. හරි. දැන් බලමු you are a owner of this company. You are a shareholder. Right. හිතන්න ඔයාගේ April. මෙන්න ඔයාගේ April වල wealth එක. Right? Wealth in April. Let's say you have just 1,000 shares. 1,000 shares. So number of shares into market price. Which price? Market price. Because it's always keep changing. Right? So when you come to April, you have 250. Let's say you have 1,000 shares, which is remaining same into 250, which is 250,000. And the same number of shares when you come to May, right? Your wealth has been increased 350, which is 350,000 by just 100,000. Right, 100,000 improve a lot. Now, how the company was able to do that? Because they were correctly obtaining the funds. When the business required funds on time, they make sure the funds are available for the project. The funds are available to utilize, and also they made sure that they utilize in the correct way, right? And as a result of that, you can see compared to April, May, the prices have been changed. And also you can see drawbacks as well. That is normal, right? If you think about the mid of April or the end of April, again, it has been, decrease. That's how the business world is, right? Share price also keep, changing. But, constantly how you can increase the prices. That is why you can see in some cases, the world richest list keep changing, right? This is due to the share price changes. List එකේ එක්කෙනා උඩට යනවා පල්ලෙහාට යනවා. මොකද the wealth you can measure by the number of shares that they have. So that is just part of their wealth. Apart from that, they do have another set of portfolio as well, like the real estate, those comes under separate way. But this is basically their ownership when you come to the company, right? හරියට මොකක්ද intro එකක් කියන්නේ? මොනවද financial management? How to obtain funds and how to utilize them while make sure that you maximize the wealth of the owners. Correct. And what are the main functions of the thing? එකක් තමයි how to obtain and how to utilize. ඒ වගේම you need to plan as well. How to plan the funds. එකක් අපි මෙතන ගමු planning of the funds. Plan how to obtain and then you obtain as well. So then you how to utilize. And what is the main objective? Yes, to utilize the wealth of maximize the wealth of the owners. And apart from that, other goals also they are like profit maximization and increase the earning per share, which I'll explain later, which is EPS, earning per share. The net profit divided by the number of shares. And එක share එකකින් කොච්චර profit එකක් තියනවද? So likewise, your market share වැඩි කරගන්න ඒ වගේ other rest of the goals as well. Correct. So what I want you to do is take this snapshot, right, starting from this part, and then this and this chart as well. Then I'll come to a screen and I'll help you to complete the note. And once you receive the tute, you can complete the things. Right? So most of the things are already printed, so then you don't have to worry about much. So let's say this is 2022. April and May. Wealth increased. Just remove this one, no need. Just it says how to obtain, right? So which means you're planning anyway. How to obtain and how to utilize. And here your organization. Right, guys, all done. Shall we move to the Qt? All the management activities in maximizing business related value or the wealth of the owners, the business related value, wealth of the owners, through obtaining fund requirements of a business from the appropriate sources. Then මුදල අවශ්‍යයි කියලා black market එකකින්වත් නැත්නම් ගිනි පොලියටවත් සල්ලි අරන් හරියන්නේ නැහැ. Right? Sometimes because we see in Sri Lankan context, when we analyze the debt report, ලංකාවේ ණය වාර්තා බලද්දී ඔයා දන්නවනම් ජපානයෙන් සහ චීනෙන් දීලා තියෙන ණය එක හා සමානයි. Same quantity. But the interest is double and triple. It's double the price compared to Japanese loans. Right? You can see it's not an appropriate way to obtain funds. Right? So then you need to make sure what are the sources. Me funds what are the sources? Right? And IMF easily funds apart rather than wait for the bilateral agreements like China and India. You need to make sure what is the appropriate source. Detail right? හරි ඒ වගේම තමයි කොහොමද utilize inappropriate source එක utilize කරන්නේ කොහොමද ඒකත් ප්‍රශ්නයක් දැන් නේද ලංකාවේ financial management හරියට වෙලා නැහැ හරියට utilize හරියට obtain කරලත් නැහැ utilize කරලත් නැහැ එහෙනම් ණය ගැනීම ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ ප්‍රශ්න තියෙන ඒක utilize කරපු ක්‍රමය දැන් I saw the news the ETF and EPF office one of a government department. From June 1st onwards, it will be closed on every Friday. Imagine, because why? As a cost reduction method, I'm pretty sure that for the rest of the government offices also, they will, kind of implement this. You can අද ඉඳලා හැම Friday දවසකම office එක වහනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒගොල්ලෝ වැඩ කරන දවස් 4යි. දැන් මේක ඇත්තටම වෙන්න ඕනේ මොකක්ද හරිනම්. වැඩිපුර දවසක් වැඩ කරා මේක වෙන්න ඕනේ. So in order to expand the economy, right, at least but දවස් 4යි වැඩ කරන්නේ. But the employees will be getting paid as usual. But the services, right, will drag. Okay. මොකද දවස් 5ක් වැඩ කරනවා. But if you guys like efficient within those 4 days, that is fine. But as a cost reduction method, and also another thing about the flights fuel. නැත්නම් plane වල fuel දාන එකත් then Kartunayaka, it's not available, so they are send other airlines to fuel up, so come with full tank, or you have to fuel up from the rest of the airports like India, so kind of thing. So it's like you can see, right, it's the way they have utilized the funds not that appropriate. So that is why so we always keep down the line, right? ඒකත් එක්ක බලන්න investing funds ගැනත් කියලා තියෙනවා related to the financial management. එහෙනම් මොකක්ද financial management කියලා කියන්නේ? How to obtain the fund requirements of a business and how you invest them. ඒ කියන්නේ utilize කරනවා කියන අදහස තමයි invest කරනවා කියන්නේ. The planning fund requirements, obtaining funds, and also how to utilize. So then there are main functions. ලියාගමු main functions. ඒක මොනවාද? Financial management, the two main functions. Let me share the content. The planning on the funds and obtaining funds. So this is comes under number 1 and utilizing them effectively. Number 2, shall we write the two main functions? Planning on funds and you obtain it according to the requirement and you utilize them effectively. So you plan it and you obtain and then you utilize or you invest in the proper way. එහෙනම් මේ දෙකම balance වෙන්න ඕනේ. දැන් ඔයා හරියට utilize කරාට වැඩක් නැහැ. ඔයා ගත්තේ වැඩි මුදලකට නම්, right? High interest, because even you get a good return, you have to pay back. Right? So likewise, and also you have obtained the funds in the proper sources, but you haven't utilized in the proper way. So again, you won't be able to maximize the wealth. Right, so moving back to the truth. Right, so again, you guys need to highlight here, it's about the maximize the business related value or the owners. Make fill in the blank, right? The main name of the financial management, blank, maximize the business related value is the main blank of financial management. Likewise, both ways could be checked. So when the value of or the worthiness of the incorporated companies increase, the price of the shares increase. The owners of an incorporated company are its ordinary shareholders, that we know. And accordingly, increase of price of ordinary shares indicates the increase in the business-related value of the owners. When it comes to sole proprietorship, the increase in wealth of a sole proprietorship business can be shown by the ability to be sold at the business for a higher value, right? Which means you have that value. And here's a real world example. Now let's see. So Elon Musk is now the richest person in the world. Now this I don't know whether it has been changed now. I retried the data on last year, April 14th. That is as per that date. So just became the richest person in the world with a net worth of more than 185 billion. Probably this could have been changed now. So increase of why? Because of the Tesla's share price push Musk past Jeff Bezos, and who had been the richest person since 2017. So he's now 184. Now he's 185. Tesla's skyrocketing share prices, which has increased more than 9-fold over the last year, and the generous pay package have added more than 150 billion for his net worth. Now you can see they close their shares $816 per share. Imagine, guys, 816 share price. That guy, if you just multiply by 365, imagine a price of a share, right? Dollars $810 එක share එකක්. So one share, right? Dollars $810 into 360 today's rate. Yes, around 293,000, right? So one share. Imagine you have just 10 shares, right? You are a millionaire. Well, right. So let's see how that has been changed. Now you can see, let's say this is 2020 August. So this is like June. Right, June 2020. You can see from June to August, right? And from like August to December. So how that has been changed. So you can see here the share price maximum that has been changed. That is the example that I explained here. So likewise throughout the period that has been increased. So whereas you have the number of shares remaining same with you, your share price, your wealth keep increasing, right? Your wealth being increasing. Now that we can probably check on if you just Google, you might be able to see that as well, how it's changed, guys, like this. So this is Amazon, right? Imagine Amazon's company's one share is $2,461 per share, right? It's like close to 1 million. So if you think about the 6 months time or 1 month time, right, from starting like April 27th, you can see that how it has been increased. Now May 27th, it's $2,461, right, per share. So likewise, when the number of shares remaining same, at the same time, it's been increased the share price, your net value increases. Correct. So that's one of the reason we say, right, financial management is important. So that is one of the key main reasons. But apart from that, we do have other, reasons as well. Right, so apart from the above basic goal of maximizing the wealth, and it is expected to attain the following goals as well. Shall we write the rest of the things? Profit maximization, maximizing earning per share, which I'll explain right after this, which we know as EPS. Earning per share, and also the long-term financial stability, and also maintaining the liquid at an optimum level. So liquidity means you have a proper working capital, which means you have the ability to pay your day-to-day payments, right? So your cash handle. Just put a star mark for EPS, which I'll explain separately. Earning per share. So you have a basic goal. What is your basic goal? Maximizing the wealth. Apart from that, we have rest of the goals when you come to FM. Right? So you need to profit maximization, maximizing of the earning per share, and also the long-term financial stability. Now you can see, guys, there are some companies when you have a financial stability, you know, you can survive in a storm. What do you mean by survive? මොනාරි කොවිඩ් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, මොනාරි ඕනම දෙයකට survive වෙලා ඉන්න පුළුවන් කාලයක්. අවුරුද්දක් එකමාරක් sales නැති වුණත් company එක just run කරගෙන ඉන්න පුළුවන්, shut down කරන්න නැතුව. ගොඩක් අපි දන්නා small and medium businesses තමයි වැහෙන්නේ. එතන ලොකු big corporatives වලට පුළුවන් company එක පවත්වාගෙන යන්න කොහොමරි employees ලව තියාගෙන, right, even though there are no sales. So that is the financial stability. Even when you come to a country, right, මොනාරි ඒ වගේ ස්වභාවික අපදාවක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, covid වගේ දෙයක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, රටට income එන්නේ නැති වුණත් කාලයක් මිනිසුන්ව බඩගින්න තියන්න නැතුව තියන හැකියාවක් තියෙනවා. So that's why you need to have foreign reserves, right? Foreign reserves are not for paid debts, right? So that is the long term stability, because we noticed that some of the first world countries, how they provide a lot of relief to its people during the hard times. So that is why, that is because they are financially strong. And also talking about the liquidity is how you try to maintain your working capital, or else your day-to-day payments, or day-to-day, which is your the current assets and the current liabilities. So you need to have a proper liquidity for your business as well. Right, අපි separate note එකක් දාගමු. මොකක්ද මේ EPS කියලා කියන්නේ? Earning per share. Yes, I hope you're done with writing. So coming back to the board. EPS, earning per share. Now this we will be discussed, right, comes under the ratio analysis, or මේ පාඩමේම topic එකක් තියෙනවා ratio analysis කියලා. ඒකත් අපි කතා කරමු. නමුත් මෙතනදී අපි පොඩ්ඩක් දැනගමු මොකක්ද earning per share කියලා කියන්නේ. Companies, now these companies, ABC companies, the net profit you divided by number of ordinary shares, basically the number of shares. Now other ප්‍රශ්නයක් මොනවාද ordinary shares කියලා කියන්නේ? Again, that's a separate topic. I'll be discussing, because there are mainly two shares, preference shares and the ordinary shares. Ordinary කියන්නේ සාමාන්‍ය කොටස් කියන අදහස. So just think at the moment ඒක shares කියලා හිතන්න, මොකක්ද වැඩි හිතන්න එපා. මොකද්ද ordinary word එක? Just shares. So the net profit divided by the number of shares. Then අපි හිතමු මේ ABC company එකේ net profit එක like 1 million. Right, net profit 1 million. මේක ළඟේ ordinary shares තියෙනවා 500,000. Right, 500,000. Just 50,000 here. Right, 50,000. Which means per share they will be earning 20 rupees, right? 20 rupees per share. එක share එකක profit එක රුපියල් 20ක්. Now what happened? So it's provide a good indicate. So whereas EPS higher, right? Earning per share high කියලා කියන්නේ it will attract the investors, right? Attract investors, because why? It's provided good return for you, right? For profit. So then they will, throughout the period, they will analyze whether the EPS has been increased. So you can see when the share price increases, when the profit increases, your EPS increases. And එක share එකකට කොච්චර profit එකක් ලැබෙනවද කියලා. So earning per share is the net profit divided by the number of ordinary shares. Right? Shall we just have this in a separate place or just in your short notebook? වගේම මම පොඩි definition එකක් දෙන්න what is earning per share. So it's a kind of an indicator, right, whether the company is doing good or bad. So higher EPS lead to a good reputation, good image about the company's performance. Right, let's move to a quick note. Earning per share is company's net profit divided by the number of common shares. EPS indicates how much money a company makes for each share of its stock and is widely used as a metric for estimating corporate value. So, higher the EPS, higher the value. So high EPS indicates greater value because investors will pay more for company shares if they think the company has a higher profits relative to its share price. Where should we write this? Your book, right? The book that you're maintaining. Right, guys, I'll give another 1 minute. So then we can move to our next part of the lesson, which is there are two main decisions that you need to take in financial management. Right. So now coming back to the rest of the part. Clear that you are very clear about EPS, earning per share, which is the net profit divided by your number of ordinary shares. And I'm making එක share එකකින් කොච්චර profit එකක් දෙනවද ඔයා invest කරන්න යන companies දෙකකින් එකක් select කර ගන්න තියෙන අවස්ථාවක ඔයාලට පුළුවන් higher EPS එකක් select කරන්න මොකද ඒකේ profit එක වැඩි. So that's a good indicator. Correct. So එහෙනම් බලන්න අපේ plan එක main aim එක හරි other goals උත් කතා කරා. EPS is one of those, and maximizing the profit, maintaining the optimum liquidity. And coming to the decisions in financial management, there are two decisions that you need to take. But we'll be using a different names going forward. Right, Mama kiwa, the way of obtaining funds and way of utilizing, way of obtaining and way of utilizing. The way of obtaining වලට අපි කියනවා financial decisions කියලා. So two decisions. And then we have the way of utilizing or the way of investing the funds. අපි කියනවා investment decisions. Now let's talk about financial and investment decisions separately. Right, can we have this as well, please? Decisions, the main decisions in financial management, financial decisions and investment decision. The way of obtaining, the way of investing, so as a finance manager, you need to take two key decisions regarding financials and investment. අපි කියන අර finance කරනවා කියලා නේද මුදල් හොයා ගන්නවට අපි කියන finance කියලා. අපි කියන the budget deficit need to be financed. Now budget deficit එකේ වෙනස අපි හොයා ගන්න ඕනේ. ඒක මූල්‍යණය කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා අදහස you need to find. So that's what the financial. And here the investment decisions. Now let's see what are those financial decisions and what are those investment decisions. Decisions regarding how to provide the funds for investing in fixed and current assets are financial decisions. So you'll be investing in fixed or current assets. That's what you do. And the way of obtaining those funds is known by this. So you know how to provide the funds. So invest කරන්න. Financial decision, yet another important function which is a financial manager must perform. It is important to make wise decision about when, where, how should the business acquire funds. අපි කොහොමද ගන්නෙ කොහෙන්ද ගන්නෙ කියන අදහස තියෙන්න අවශ්‍යයි. Right? You know, which gives the best interest to the business. Funds can be acquired through many ways of channels. අපිට පුළුවන් අපේ resource විකුණලා සල්ලි ගන්න. Right? අපිට පුළුවන් current assets, non-current assets sell කරන්න. අපිට පුළුවන් bank facilities ගන්න, bank loan, overdraft. අපිට පුළුවන් expenses pay කරන්න නැතුව තියාගන්න. We can accrue the expenses. That's also one of a way, right? And also we can say we can ensure the profits not distributed. We can retain the profit, what is known as a retained earnings, right? Likewise, so there's so many ways. Let's discuss. Broadly speaking, a correct ratio of an equity and debt has to be maintained. The mix of equity, capital, and debt is known as a the firm's capital structure. Yes, now make an product the ratio of the equity and debt. The mix of equity and capital debt, which is a capital structure. Now, අපිට finance කරන්න පුළුවන් ක්‍රම දෙකකින් එකක් තමයි අපිට ණය ගන්න පුළුවන් නැත්නම් through equity. හරි මේ බලන්න. example එකක් විදියට අපි ගත්තොත් දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ දාන්න බේසික්ම දෙයක් තියෙනවානේ accounting equation. Right? Accounting equation. මොනවාද accounting equation එක? Assets. Assets equals basically the equity, right? The later liabilities come. Equity. And plus liability. So equity can internally shareholders la dena de saha liabilities external parties, right? But somehow it's the combination of assets. It's a combination of assets. දැන් හිතන්න මෙහෙම සරල දෙයක්. ඔයාගේ savings වලින් ඔයා asset එකක් ගන්නවා. right? අපි හිතමු ඔයාගේ savings වලින් ඔයා ගන්නවා හරි මොනවද ගන්න asset එකක් machine එකක් අපි හිතමු ඔයා ගන්නවා ඔයාගේ business එකට machineries and equipments. Correct? So then your equity increases, your assets increases, but there are no liabilities, there are no external parties debts. So how we have finance through the equity. අනිත් පැත්තෙන් bank loan එකක් අරගෙන business එකට තව asset එකක් ගේනවා. එහෙනම් that asset through debts, that asset through the external liabilities. එහෙනම් අපිට කියන්න පුළුවන් ඔයා මේ business එක finance කරලා තියෙනවා. මේ business එකට අවශ්‍ය assets දීලා තියෙනවා. එකක් තමයි through equity and through liabilities. Liabilities වලට අපි කියනවා debt කියලා. So මේ පැත්ත capital, right? Capital. එහෙනම් capital to debt. කොහොමද අපි මේ funds හොයාගන්නේ කියන එක. එහෙනම් මේ බලන්න business එකක් වුණත් ඔයාගේ personal life එකේ දුනත් රටක වුණත් debts වැඩි නම් දැන් උදාහරණයක් විදිහට ලංකාවේ තියෙන ගොඩක්ම assets හදලා තියෙන ණය අරගෙන. එහෙනම් ඔයාලට පැහැදිලි equity to debt ratio, the debt වැඩි, which is not good. Even though you have assets, you can see how you have acquired those assets through financing. Through financing, how? Through obtaining loans. So you need to always make sure you keep a balance of it. හිතන්න මෙන්න මෙහෙම දෙයක් කියලා. දැන් ඔයාගේ total assets 100,000 හැදිලා තියෙන්නේ equity 70,000 plus liabilities 30,000. Right. Then may position එකද හොඳ නැත්නම් මේ position එකද? Let's say two situation. Again, you have 100,000 assets, which is like equity only 30,000, whereas from liability 7,000. What do you think? What is the better position when you come to the business point of view? What is the better position? Situation A or situation B? Right? Situation A, situation B. Obviously, the situation A is the better one, right? Situation A. Situation A is the better one. Because why? Out of those 100,000 assets, 70,000 through the equity and only 30,000. So it's like, 30 to 70, 30 to 70 to 30%. හැබැයි මේක පැත්තට ගත්තොත් equity අඩුයි වැඩිපුරම ණය තමයි අරගෙන තියෙන assets හදන්න. ඒ නිසා you have to make sure. So this is a capital structure. How the capital has been formulated through 70 30% or the 30 70%. You need to make a decision how the capital structure. So how you structures the capital. වැඩිපුර debt අරගෙන capital එකක් හදනවද නැත්නම් through the equity you try to build it. Right? So that's dependent. So more financial strong. කවුද මෙතන වැඩිපුරම financial strong වෙන්නේ? Situation A. Right? Because they have equity 70,000. Good. So that's you need to make a balance of the capital and debt. Right? මොකද ඔයාට finance කරනවා කියලා හිතුමතේම ණය අරගන්න විදියක් නැහැ. එතකොට ඔයාගේ financial stability එකට ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Yes, can we just have that structure, please? So two situations. Situation A and B, right? Capital structure. Debt to equity ratio. අපි මේ වගේ ratios උත් ඉස්සරහට හදනවා. Right? අපි මෙන්න debt to equity ratio කියලා. So ඔයාම decide කරන්න ඔයා business එකක් start කරනවා ඔයාට ඒකට 100,000 ඕනේ ඒක ඔයාගේ සල්ලි වලින් වැඩිපුර දානවද නැත්නම් ණය අරන් වැඩිපුර දානවද කියන එක ඔයාලා decide කරන්න පුළුවන් වැඩිපුර ණය තිබුණොත් එතන ප්‍රශ්නයක් තියෙනවා so you are not financially strong there. Right, now let's move to investment decisions. Investment decisions. decisions made to invest funds in fixed assets and current assets are investment decision. In other ways, the way of investing those funds in ණය වෙලා හරි equity වලින් හරි හොයාගත්ත මුදලවා කොහොමද invest කරන්නේ. Now guys, here's the explanation or the classification regarding the financial decision. Now let's discuss one by one. As you know, yes, you divide into two, saying financial investment and financial decisions, right? Maybe the podcast better. Now let's talk about financial decisions. First, financial decisions. Financial decision, guys, you again divide into two, right? Again divide into two, saying long-term decisions, applying long-term financing and short-term financing. Short-term financing. Now, order පුළුවන් creditors like example like විදියට order පුළුවන් stock එකක් ණයට ගන්න. Stock එකක් ණයට ගත්තාම මොකද වෙන්නේ? order creditors ලා තියෙනවා. So you have to change this, guys. This is not debtors. This need to be creditors. Creditors. You know, decision regarding to creditors. You can make sure you purchase. දැන් අපි මේ දවස්වල මොනවද කරන්නේ? ඉන්දියාවෙන් දීලා දෙනවා credit line එකක්. නේද? සල්ලි දෙන්නේ නැහැ credit line එකක්. $500 million. So we can purchase goods and services worth of 500 million. Right? Basically the oil and essential medicines that we get through that credit line. So likewise now India is a creditor. India has been a creditor always. So likewise a decision related to credit. So you can make sure you purchase goods for your business on credit basis. You will create creditors. You will have creditors. So it's a way of financing. Right? Because why? You will be investing those in stocks. on item බඩු අර ගන්නවා එහෙනම් ඒක පැත්තක ඉන්වෙස්ට්මන්ට් එකක්. අපි ඔයාට ඒක වැඩි මුදලකට විකුණන්න පුළුවන්. කොහොමද ආයේ ස්ටොක් එක හදාගත්තේ? So how you utilize the funds through creditors? Correct. And the decisions related to bank overdrafts and short-term bank loans. Yes, article bank overdraft අපි මේක කතා කරලා තිනවා 7.0 money and financial institutions. අපිට temporary overdraft, permanent overdraft, මේ විදිහට overdraft එකක් කියලා කියනවා. ඔයාගේ current account balance එක exceed කළා you can issue shares. So for example, you have the overdraft and the short term. And also talking about the bank loans දෙන short term මාස 6 මාස 3කට තවත් loans ගන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙනම් ඒවත් order financing decisions. And decision related to accrued expenses. මොනවද accrue කරනවා කියලා කියන්නේ? Right, so you keep it without paying, you accrued it, right? So for example, expenses to be paid, අපි කියන accrued expenses කියලා example like the rent payable, නේද? අපි rent එක පුළුවන් නම් කල් දා ගන්න, right? ලබන මාසෙට electricity, loan payments, loan interest, right? එහෙනම් accrued expenses කියලා කියන්නේ the way of financing. Because you දැන් මේ දවස්වල අපි කතා කරන්නේ ණය ප්‍රතිව්‍යුහගත, so which is the debt rescheduling. So how debt rescheduling is that you talk with the lenders and it's some the due dates you get postponed. So likewise when it comes to business expenses, could be telephone, electricity, interest payment, rent payment. So those you try to postpone the payments, right? Maybe couple of months, couple of weeks. So it's also a way of financing because otherwise you need to have funds to settle. Now අර තියෙන expense ටික පුළා example එකක් විදිහට ඔයාගේ building ownerත් එක්ක කතා කරලා rent එක පොඩ්ඩක් පස්සට දාගන්න පුළුවන්, right? So then you accrue it, so it will show as a liability. So that's about the accrued expenses. Right, so those are like short term. Now when it comes to long term, again you have two part decisions related to the capital structure or the capital mix, and also decisions related to the dividends. Remember, now when you think about the capital structure or the capital mix, is that something related to your equity? So decisions related to obtaining a loan capital, right? Of loan capital. So whereas you will receive funds to your business, and also the decision related to collection of the equity capital. එනවාට loan එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට ඔයාගේ capital mix එක වෙනස් වෙනවා නේද? මොකද more liabilities. And also you can collection of equity capital, something like issuing shares through the equity capital, or the owner invest in your business. And also the decision related to ratios of loans and equity capital. වැඩිපුර equity එකෙන් ගන්නවද වැඩිපුර loans ගන්නවද කියලා decide කරන්න පුළුවන්. So this is a decision which will impact the capital mix. Here you can see the capital mix. Here the 70,000 and 30,000. එහෙනම් මෙතන capital mix එක 70% 30%. Situation B capital structure එක 30% 70%. එන්න තමයි වගේ 100,000 හැදිලා තියෙන්නේ. So those related decision අපි කියනවා the decision related to the capital structure එක වෙනස් වෙනවා. And again we have the long term comes under long term decisions related to the dividends. එකක් තමයි decision related retaining of the profit. ඔයාලට පුළුවන් මුදල් තියාගන්න ඔයාගේ profit එක බෙදන්නේ නැතුව. We know that the profits belong to the owners. The profit belong to owners. Now let's say this ABC PLC, you end up with the profit of 1 million, right? You end up with a profit of 1 million. So you keep the whole profit without distributing, or else a kind of a percentage. Usually na company එක පොඩි percentage එකක් තියාගෙන as retain earnings. නැත්නම් අපි කියන්නේ මේක retain profits කියලා. What do you mean by retain? You keep it, right? So retain earning කියලා කියනවා. නැත්නම් profit එක retain කරගන්න. Example එකක් විදිහට 1 million profit එකෙන් නැත්නම් you as a habit 10% නේද? හැම අවුරුද්දෙම profit එකෙන් 10% ආ තියාගන්න company එක. Right now out of this case 100,000 you keep with the business, and rest of the amount, which is the 900,000, you will be distributing your shareholders based on the number of shares. මේ විදිහට බෙදලා දෙනවා ඉතුරු ටික. Right? එහෙනම් මේ විදිහට හැම අවුරුද්දෙම ඔයාලට fund එකක් හැදෙනවා. Because you keep always 10% of whatever the percentage agreed by the management every year. එහෙනම් එතනින් ඔයාලට යම්කිසි fund එකක් එකතු වෙනවා as a profit. Right? ඒක අපි කියන retain earning කියලා. ඒ වගේම decision related to the allotment of the dividends. Yes, dividends උනත් ඔයාලට පුළුවන් pay නොකර ඉන්න සහ the way you decide it, කොච්චර dividends pay කරනවද කියන එකත් ඔයාලා decide කරන්න පුළුවන්. Because you realize this, there are two things like I again said, preference shares and the ordinary shares. එන අපි දන්නවා preference shares වලට හම්බෙනවා fixed earning එකක්, but whereas for the ordinary shares you will be received it depends. If the management decide to distribute, you will be received. So then you can make a decision whether you allot or whether you distribute the shares or not. So that is also one of the decision comes under the dividends, right? So the dividend related decision. Right. So then ගොඩක් වෙලාවට මේක ඉතින් MCQs වල තමයි check කරන්නේ මොනවද finance related decisions, what are the investment decisions. Now coming back to investment. Investment කියලා කියන්නේ දැන් ඔයා කොහොමද මේවා invest කරන්නේ? දැන් කොහමද මුදල් හොයාගත්තානේ? creditors වලින් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, loans වලින් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. So how do you utilize? Again that we divide into long term decisions and short term decisions. එකක් තමයි එහෙනම් decisions related to the business modernization. ඔයාලට පුළුවන් business එක modern කරන්න නේද? ගොඩක් වෙලාවට එක්ක එකේ external look එක වෙන්න පුළුවන්, අලුත් branding rebranding වෙන්න පුළුවන් නේද? business එක modernization කරනවා. දැන් අපිට example තමයි දැන් ඉස්සර Kiehl's සහ Food City ගත්තොත් දැන් මේක modernization වෙලා ඉස්සර තිබ්බට වඩා ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ team එක වෙනස් කරලා ටිකක් mod කරලා අරගෙන තියෙනවා. right? ඉතින් මේ විදිහට සමහර businesses අපි දකිනවා you do some modernizations. So it's like completely changing the structures, completing the rebranding, and the way it appears, the outlets, everything they try to reform. And the decision related to replacement, sometimes you try to replace your assets, you try to upgrade to a latest version of assets, the latest version of distributed vehicles, or you will replace your all machineries with the latest technology. And decision related to promoting the business with the objective of increasing your market share, you try to do promotions. and decisions related to the business diversification එනවා එක සෙක්ටර් එකක තිබුණා නම් ඒ විදිහට business එක diversify කරන්න එනවාට තියෙනවා retail shop තියෙනවා hotels තියෙනවා banking side වෙන්න පුළුවන් so you get a total different areas which is your risk has been diversified right because you have a portfolio of business එන එක පැත්තක් business නැති වෙද්දී අනිත් පැත්ත වාට එකකින් ලොකු profits එන්න පුළුවන් so you are not in the same sector if you are in the same sector if you are a group of companies who have hotels so if the tourism suddenly stops so how gonna survive but if you try to have a diversified nature of business so then there's a more chance you survive as a business so you can make a decision regarding that and the short-term decision related to cash management right so how we keep cash with our business and decision related to debtors because you need to settle to your you can settle to your debtors and decision related to trade stock right trade stock තියාගන්න විදිය and also other decision related to the short-term investments right so likewise that is the way of you utilize your funds right or plan stocks sell on credit basis so you can have some debtors because why some of at a given point you will receive money from debtors so which is a kind of investment now at a stocks lab for 5,000 worth of stocks you sell for like 6,000 for credit basis so you will receive 6,000 from the debtors so the investment is 1,000 rupees correct so we now make a body idea එකක් තියාගන්න මොනවාද decision types how we classified and examples key points to remember let's see after identifying the sources of obtaining funds and the way of investing them in accordance with the financial management decision they should be invested in an effective way right having been obtained them in appropriate මම කිව්වා වගේ කලින් appropriate sources වලින් අරගෙන appropriate sources වල invest කරන්න ඕන if the financing decision and investment decision have been made in an optimal manner so if you do like that then only the main aim of the financial management will be fulfilled right will be fulfilled correct right එනවා වාගේ financial management එක objectives එක fulfill කරන්න නම් proper sources වලින් අරගෙන proper sources වල වාට ඒවා invest කරන්න වෙනවා right guys so let's move to the financial planning and controlling instrument so there are two things that you need to think about how do you plan your financial which is through budgeting challenges right financial planning and controlling instrument one is through budgeting so that's why you need to always have a budget ගොඩක් ලාට අපි event එකක් plan කරත් trip එකක් plan කරත් එහෙම නැත්නම් මොනාරි අපේ day to day expenses we need to have a budget so sometimes when we go to purchase an asset sometimes they ask what is your budget right when you go and purchase a land or a house or vehicle kind of any asset they ask what is your budget so there has to be a limitations which you can accommodate right so you need to make sure you come up with budget and the cash flow statements budgeting and cash flows ගැන අපි කතා කරනවා cash flow statements so it's about cash in and out cash flow statements shall we write financial planning and controlling instruments one is through budgeting one is through cash flow statements cash flow statements Right, now let's talk about budget. right මොකක්ද දෙන budget එකක් කියන්නේ අපි දන්නවා it's a estimation right දැන් අපි හැම අවුරුද්දකම ගේන budget එකක් නොවැම්බර් මාසේ ලංකාවේ budget එක නේද පාර්ලිමේන්තු එකට ගේනවා budget එක every year month of November එහෙනම් 2021 නොවැම්බර් වලට ආව budget එකක් 2022 වලට හැබැයි දැන් කියන ආපහු budget එක වෙනස් කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා because some of the expected revenue sources the chances are there you won't be achieved it එහෙනම් අපි estimate කරපු තරම් revenue එකක් නැහැ ඒ වගේම estimate කරාට වඩා expenses වැඩි වෙලා තියෙනවා so that's what we can see එහෙනම් budget එකක් කියලා කියන්නේ ඔයගේ estimated revenue and estimated expenses එහෙනම් business එකකට හැම අවුරුද්දකම වල budget එකක් ගේන්න පුළුවන් right කොහොමද ඔයගේ expected sales so how the revenue consists of could be sales from could be other income sources you might have and then your expenses side of that right your cost of sales your manufacturing expenses your distribution expenses financial expenses administration expenses like salaries right so you came up with the budget which is the estimated or budgeted or expected right the difference between your estimated revenue sources and then you deduct your estimated expenses මේක සමහරට budget surplus එකක් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන් ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයගේ estimated revenue වැඩි estimated expenses අඩු නැත්නම් ඒක අනිත් පැත්තේ budget surplus budget surplus කියන්නේ you have more revenue and less expenses ඒක අනිත් පැත්ත budget deficit එකක් වෙන්නත් පුළුවන් estimated revenues අඩුයි හැබැයි estimated expenses වැඩි correct so that's what about the budget so financial planning and controlling so budgeting and cash flows through instruments so one of these is the budgeting process so we can budget about our revenue of an organization right which is common for you as well you can prepare your own budget right once you started working or once you started doing your own business budgeting right so one of the key source to how you plan basically how you plan your financials මොකද budget එක අනුව තමයි ඔයාලට ඊට පස්සේ ඔයාගේ financial decision ගන්න වෙන්නේ දැන් ලංකාවේ budget එක අනුව තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ බලන්නේ කොහොමද මේ වෙනස හොයාගන්නේ කියන අදහස right so how you make sure එනයික ලංකාවේ බැංකුව වලින් ගන්නවද පිටරට බැංකුව වලින් ගන්නවද ලංකාවේ මාකට් එකෙන් සල්ලි ගන්නවද පිටරට මාකට් එකෙන් සල්ලි ගන්නවද you will be basically divide how you finance the deficit බලවන central bank report එකේ පෙන්නනවා budget deficit එක finance කරේ කොහොමද කියලා මොකද අනිවාර්යයෙන් මේක finance වෙන්න ඕනේ එහෙම නැත්නම් expenses අඩු කරන්න වෙනවා according to the revenue alright so you need to make sure you increase the revenue එහෙම නැත්නම් කොහොමද මේ වෙනස හොයාගන්නේ basically through loans right yeah in order to finance you can have a budget right so let's move to the budgeting and there are some things to complete it there budget is an estimation of revenue and expenses over a specified future period of time and is usually compiled with and revalue මේක හැමතිස්සෙම reevaluate කරන්න ඕනේ මොකද අපි expect කරන දෙයක් නේ ඒක වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන් එකපාර economic crisis එකක් ආවා එහෙනම් දැන් අපේ මොකද 2021 නොවැම්බර් තිබ්බ ලංකාවේ තත්ත්වෙ නෙමෙයි දැන් තියෙන්නේ so always need to be reevaluated on a periodic basis such as annual budget quarterly budget monthly budget when it comes to the budgeting the two main instruments used එකක් අපි කියනවා cash budget එක කියලා right yes I mean මේක විතරක් දාගන්න බලන්න budgeting two types cash budget එක capital budget cash budget and capital budget right budgeting two types can we just have that in your short notebook cash budget එකක් ඕනේ අපිට capital budget එකක් ඕනේ Right, now let's see what is this cash budget and capital budget. එහෙනම් cash budget එකකින් අපි බලන්න දැන් හිතන්න අපේ ලංකාවේ නේද? අපිට ඔයාලට මතකද අපි කතා කරා recurrent expenses and capital expenses කියලා. නේද? recurrent expenses. එහෙනම් budget එකක් කියනවා recurrent expenses. එහෙනම් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම හැම අවුරුද්දකම අපි health, defense services, transportation, education මේවට spend කරන්න ඕනේ. So that's the budget for that, right? So budget for recurrent expenses. And the budget for capital expenditures, the schools, buildings, hospitals, parallel, airports, right? So all the nature is capital. So capital nature expenditures. In a cash budget, day-to-day expenses. In a day-to-day income sources, the day-to-day expenses. Example, like the business, the order sales, the income, rent income, discount received වෙන්න පුළුවන්, dividends වෙන්න පුළුවන්, and also other point of view we are day-to-day expenses, paying your electricity bill, paying to creditors, right, paying salaries. So likewise you need to have a budget for that. මට කොච්චර salaries ගෙවන්න වේද මේ quarter එකට, මට කොච්චර electricity bill එකක් එයිද, මට කොච්චර telephone bill එකක් එයිද, right? So all your short term related decision. And capital nature කියන්නේ ඔයගේ කොහොමද the budget for your building renovation, so acquiring new building, acquiring new assets, vehicles, distribution vehicles, and business renovations, things like that will come under the capital nature, right? In a cash budget and capital budget. So let's write some example and you realize what sort of comes under capital budget, right? අපිට පුළුවන් දෙන මේ විදිහට table එකක් දාගන්න. So once you receive the tube, you can complete it now. So can we have a table like that? Write the topic, cash budget, and the table is like example for the cash receipt, which is the cash receivable for your business, and example for the cash payments. Okay, now so cash budget is all about your cash in and cash out. Right, now let's see what are the sources that you receive cash to your business. So shall we write from the expected sources through cash sales, right? Was අපි දන්න sale එකක් cash basis, credit basis වෙන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි මෙතන අපි consider කරන්නේ cash sales විතරයි. ඒ වගේම sales from non-current assets. You might sell the non-current assets. You might sell one of your distribution vehicle, one of your old machineries, right? So that one of a source. And also you receive money from debtors, whereas for credit sales, මොකද credit sale කියන්නේ ණයට විකිණීමක්, එන ණයට විකිණීමක් කරාට පස්සේ පසුව ඔයාට මුදල් ලැබෙනවා. So then you receive money from the debtors. So cash sales and sale of non-current assets, and also receipt from debtors. So those are some expected sources of the cash receipt for your business. ඒ වගේම එක පැත්තකින් ඔයාට business එක maintain කරගෙන යන්න business එකට ඔයාට stocks ගන්න වෙනවා. Purchase of stocks, payment of salaries and wages, and purchase of non-current assets. Purchase of non-current assets. So that are the expected cash payments for your business. Okay, so here that has to be a purchase of current asset, right? Purchase of current assets. Like short-term assets. Basically the materials and stocks. No guys, so non-current assets comes under the capital budget because those are the long-term decisions that should comes under capital budget. Purchasing of non-current assets comes under capital budget. Right, now let's move to the benefits of a cash budget. So always it's a good, right? So when you have a budget, because we know our budgetary limits. So ability to make a effective cash investment. මොකද අපිට පේනවා නම් අපේ budget එකේ expected sources වැඩි, expenses අඩුයි කියලා we can think of a way, right? So the excess cash වලට අපි මොකද කරන්න කියන එක. ඒක short term invest කරන්න පුළුවන්, FD එකක් දාන්න පුළුවන්. So you get the idea. And also ඒක අනිත් පැත්ත අපිට පේනවා the possible cash shortages තියෙනවා පුළුවන් business එකේ. And shortage එක කලින්ම අඳුර ගන්න පුළුවන් because you prepare a budget and next month වාගේ next month budget එක හදනවා. වාට කොච්චර income sources එයිද සහ කොච්චර expenses තියෙනවද. වාට පේනවා expenses වැඩි income අඩුයි කියලා නේද. So you think of an increase of income or to cut down the expenses. එහෙම නැත්නම් අර වෙනස through an obtaining a loan. So you make you plan in advance. එනම් excess එකක් නැත්නම් surplus එකක් තිබ්බොත් what you do with the surplus, because nothing will be added, you just keep your surplus, right? Surplus එක වාගේ draw එක දාගෙන තියාගත්ත එක මුකුත් නැහැ. You need to invest it, right? And also the shortage, how you solve that. And the facilitating, planning and controlling of cash by comparing with actual cash transaction, assist in confirming the future financial condition of the business when obtaining business loan. In our article, the future, to confirm the future business position, because you see the expected income and expected expenses for that business. So it's a way of obtaining the loans, because in order to obtain loans, you have to plan in advance. Then what the හෙට බැංක් එකට ගිහලා කිව්වොත් loan එකක් දෙනවා කියලා අවශ්‍ය loan එකක් ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැනේ. So like unless otherwise it's a overdraft facility, you won't get a loan in such a quick way, right? So it takes time, so it's better to plan in advance. So let's move to the cash, the capital budgeting as well. So this is about the long term, the planning for the investing the current fund of an organization in a most effective long term assets or the long term projects. So that is the capital budget, aiming to earn benefits in the future. Right? So the capital budgeting decision that a financial manager takes, we consider as a long-term investment decision. Long-term investment decisions. Right? Shall we write a couple of examples here? The provided box. Constructing a new building for the business. Right? Number 1. And purchasing a new machine. The long-term expenses spent on advertising plan, like kind of a good advertising campaign. So this is your capital budget, capital nature, long-term decisions. Then example like විදියට government එක government employees ලට salary ගෙවන්න සල්ලි හොයාගන්න එක cash budget, right? Government එක මොනවාරි project එකක් කරන්න සල්ලි හොයාගන්න එක, expressway එකක් හදන්න සල්ලි හොයාගන්න එක capital budget, right? It's as simple as that. දැන් මේ දවස්වල කියනවානේ මේ නේද රාජ්‍ය සේවකයන්ට පඩි ගෙවා ගන්න විදියක් නැහැ. ඒ වගේ even the day to day nature expenses pay කරන්න විදියක් නැහැ. So that comes under the cash budget. Capital budget is, so how can you go for a capital budget? That's a question, right? When you don't have funds for a cash budget, obviously you have to deduct or you have to fully eliminate the cash, the capital budget. දැන් ඒක තමයි මේ දවස්වල යන්නේ කලින් මේ projects වල allocate කරපු සල්ලි ආපහු ගන්නවා කැම බීම වලට බෙහෙත් වලට, by cutting down the capital nature expenditures. That's why they are saying to submit or what to do the changes to the initial budget, right? In the initial budget එකේ තිබ්බ capital nature expenditures ඔක්කොම අයින් කරලා ඒක cash budget එකට දාන්න තමයි plan කරන්නේ. So that's what they need to do at this moment. Right. So then the cash flow statement it make up another way of controlling the financials. So just highlight the fact that it's about we don't talk much about cash flows. We make accounting related part එක cash flow statement. So cash in and out. එතකොට මේක හදන්න පුළුවන් present past future right ඒක අපිට cash flow එක for past periods for past quarters past annual years and also right as estimation. So it's about the cash inflows and the cash outflows for an organization. So cash flow statement also important for an organization to control the cash flows. Right. And then guys we need to discuss the financial requirements. කොහොමද අපි funds obtain කරගන්නේ කියන එක short term and long term විදිහට අපි in detail කතා කරනවා. So I hope you are clear with the content explained today. Yes, so we talk about the intro and the main functions of the financial management and the main aim or the objective. There's one and only aim you need to achieve, but following that goal you have rest of the goals to be achieved and also decision in terms of financial and investment decision that you need to make. And then we move to the financial control and planning through budgeting and cash flow statement. So budget again two parts, cash budget and capital, and then you got the cash flow statement as well. So the next session we'll be discussing how to obtain the funds, so how you fulfill the financial requirements for short-term requirements plus long-term requirements in detail. Right guys, so that's about it. Thank you for joining and we'll see you in the next session. Thanks.